Welcome to Some Kind of Fun. Tonight we have an interview with Mary Cutrufello, another interview with Mike Elias, clips from BB Galini, Rich Madsen, Curtis A. But before that, we got to talk about the elephant in the room.
I've lost weight.
Well, sure. And it shows. I have found it. But I've heard a rumor that we are having a summer party at Palmer's on June 28th. Is that something you two have heard?
A party?
Well, I'm all up for a party.
I like parties.
Yeah.
Who doesn't love a good party?
I mean,
Exactly. And who doesn't love Palmer's on the
patio.
porch? Yeah.
Yeah.
On the porch? Or maybe inside if it rains, so there's no... You should still come, even if it's raining.
Right.
Right.
But one thing you can get at Palmer's is whiskey. Mm-hmm. So
And once you're outside on the patio, you can listen to some rock and roll.
They go together.
They do.
like a club.
Like a
if you
club
will.
almost.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that's a
yep.
club. That's a club I
Yeah.
would join. A whiskey rock and roll club.
Oh, we should have a club like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You know who else we should invite? You know who we like is that Cindy Lawson.
Oh,
Yeah.
Friend of the
she's
show.
very
Yeah,
good.
yeah.
She was on the first episode.
Absolutely.
She was.
Inaugural episode.
I think she was our very first guest.
I think so.
She sure might have been.
She could have been.
She could have been. It was a long time ago.
was-
We've done
It was
this a while
ages ago.
now.
I mean, whew.
Well, and
It all melds together after a while.
if you're gonna have Cindy Lawson, we could have some more bands.
Yeah.
Maybe a group of teens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Somewhere between gold and bronze.
Yeah.
Just like right in the
They
middle
could be-
there.
I haven't watched
They
the
could-
Olympics in a while. What's
Yeah.
between?
They could be silver.
Oh.
Silver teens.
Okay.
That-
Yeah. We could have the silver teens.
Okay.
Yep.
That sounds like fun.
And if something goes wrong
Right.
and we all get into a fight,
Yep.
we get angry at each other.
We all know what to do.
Silent treatment.
Silent treatment.
Is that the wind? We're not having the wind. And then, if we're going to have all these bands, we should have some mucks.
We'll muck around.
Gotta muck
you
it
know
up.
we will.
Gotta muck it up. You gotta get mucked.
Yep. What kind of muck?
I think Goo Goo. The Goo Goo type of mucks.
Cuckoo mucks.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
That'll be quite a show.
indeed.
A show and a half.
So when is this party happening?
Is it June 28th?
I believe it is. Do you have something that has the information, Paul?
I do. And we'll be putting this up, all over town. Watch for the wild postings.
Yeah.
Lamp posts all over the Twin Cities, just like rock and roll bands used to do it.
Right.
Before that stupid internet.
Yeah.
Music shows or music clubs and
Exactly.
pet stores.
Yeah.
Cub.
Wherever. Cub, yes. Rainbow.
Rainbow. Yeah.
Mortuaries,
Mortuaries. How would you not? Yeah.
head shops.
People are dying to get
Shops.
in. Sorry.
Chinese restaurants. Oh boy. Just kind of goodness.
Yeah.
Well, that'll be fun. Speaking of shows,
Yeah.
any shows that you've seen lately, Paul, as always, you get to go first.
Well, I saw what will be the best show by a traveling national act, and it was this week, and it was Daniel Romano and his outfit. And once again, it just completely blew me away. He comes out, they start playing, they don't stop for 45 minutes. They don't tune, they don't talk between songs, they don't even take a breath. They don't even yell 1, 2, 3, 4. It just goes from beginning to end. They go downstairs, come back and do the encore, and it's over. It was amazing.
Wow.
That is cool.
So that was it for me.
What about you, Claire?
I saw a fantastic set by the Reach Outs out of Winona. And if you don't know the Reach Outs, you really should because they are so much fun. And also Petty Larcenists,
Ooh,
who do
very
not play a
nice.
lot. And so that was really
Yeah.
great to catch them at Palmer's.
Cool.
How about you, Peter?
Well, I went to the Whole Music Club for the first time in at least 2 decades, maybe 3, to see Vile, Kill Us Online, and Riot Girl Darko. And it's because it had been 3 years, they switched where the stage was in the hole, and it threw me off. Like I walked in and I was like, "This is backwards."
Were you on the stage?
No, I
Were
was
you
not
like,
on
"Oh
the
no,
stage.
I
What am I doing up here?
The rest of the adequate hats are not here."
I walked in. I was like, "Wait, this is not where I stand. I'm supposed to stand there, not here." But it was a great show. There was plenty of homaging, and I had a really great time. And yeah, so that Vile, and we'll be talking more about them later when it comes to shows that we're looking forward to.
Nice.
Coming up next, we have an interview with Mary Cutrufello, and after that, we got clips from Little Fevers,
Whiskey Rock and Roll Club.
East Lakers.
and BB Galini.
And now,
We have an interview with Mary Cutrufello.
Let the night fall down upon me. Bring it on. The power of the night confounds me. Let the night fall, let it come. She don't fall for everyone. Let the night fall. Bring it on. With the power of the sun. Let the night fall. Let the night fall. Let the night fall down upon me. Let the night fall. Let the night fall. Let the night fall down upon me. Let the rain fall. Let the rain fall. Let the rain fall down upon me. Let the rain fall. Let the rain fall. Let the rain fall down upon me.
Story of me, the torn out feelings
Mary, welcome to the show. How are you doing today?
I am well.
Excellent.
It's delightful to be here.
Yeah.
It's rainy outside, but everything is greening up.
That you can't beat that.
No, I like it.
So how did you get into music? How did you become a professional musician?
Those are two different questions.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, I started playing guitar when I was 9 years old in 1979. Just got there under the wire of, I guess I started in the 70s.
Yeah.
I go back to the 70s. Wrote songs, played in bands, high school band, all of that. Had a band in college. I grew up in the East Coast, so the band was called the Cement Shoes Blues Band. It's East Coast. And we were a big band on campus for a couple of years. And everybody was a senior when I was a junior. And after that, I was like, well, we'll do some gigs in the summer. And they're like, we just graduated college. We're going to go have lives now. And I'm like, but the band, man. And they were like, no. And that was kind of the first time I realized I was taking it more seriously than the average pair. So I did my senior year, moved down to Texas, and that was when that's when I was in with both feet.
What did you do down in Texas? That you're in with both feet. What were you doing with both feet?
Country music.
Okay.
Yeah. It was something that had captivated me the last couple of years that I was on the East Coast. But, in 1990, it was a lot harder to learn about things when you're not there than it is now. And it's like, I tell kids this, and they're like, but, I went to a very fine research university, and even then, it was hard to just learn about something. I was like, well, I guess I'm going to Texas then.
So were you listening to country when you were growing up?
No.
Okay. So,
I listened to Hee Haw mostly because it drove my folks nuts. And it was my way of getting back at them for wanting to listen to Lawrence Welk. You're laughing because you know. And the Dukes of Hazzard.
yeah.
Which that was Waylon and his band doing all the bumper music, and he was like the narrator, I guess. And I just remember I'd never heard anything like that. And I was fascinated by it, but I had no context for it, and I didn't know anybody who could give me any context as like a 10-year-old in Connecticut.
Right.
So when it kind of came back into my life in college, I'm like, all right, this must mean something because it's happened to me twice. And I thought it was cool both times.
How did it come to you in college?
I discovered Dwight Yoakam, Steve Earle, and Marty Stewart my junior year in college. I don't know how. I really don't remember how, but those were the three artists that kind of got me into it. And just like, it was just as mind-blowing as it was 10 years before when I was a kid watching the Duke Boys.
Yeah.
By that point, I've been playing guitar for 12, 13, whatever it was, 13 years. But I was like totally Clapton, Beck, and Page.
Yeah.
I had a little bit of a revelation with Dickie Betts. May he rest in peace. And that kind of got me started down that road. But it was really when I heard Pete Anderson playing with Dwight Yoakam. And I was like, I had no idea what that cat was doing on the guitar. It's like, this is clearly guitar and it's awesome, but it's like so far from my frame of reference. Like, I got to find out about this. And then the songs. You know, it's like, what I like to say is, you know, rock and roll is like boy meets girl, boy gets car, you know. Country music, there's like boy meets girl, boy gets another girl, and I'm like, ooh, a triangle.
Yeah.
Geometry was my best, you know, math subject.
Right.
I'm like, I'm in. How can I start writing about this? So I did.
So you went from the East Coast to Texas.
Yes.
Did you come from Texas up to Minnesota, or were there any other pit stops on the way?
No, that was it.
Okay, when did you come up to Minnesota? And what brought you up there, up here?
Have you ever been to Houston in August? It's hot
Yeah.
and humid. And if you've ever been to Houston in January, it is less hot and less humid, but it's not winter. And after 10 years of living down there, I felt like I'd done the things I went down there to do, learned the things I learned, contributed in my way, and I was ready for 4 seasons.
Okay.
You know, it was as simple as that. You know, I mean, if 10 winters I'll never get back, but at least I could start.
Right.
And this is, the Twin Cities were a place I'd come through on the road, and when I was towards the end of my time there, I was able to tour nationally, and I always had a great time, and I always met people who could play. And you know, when you come from a place like Texas or Nashville, LA, New York, something where that's the culture, you can't just move anywhere. So I'd always come through here and met amazing musicians, and I'm like, I can do work here. You know, I can do good work. And so all those things kind of, you know, I was on a big label, and when that ran its course, I was a little bit at loose ends, and I said, let's do this. Let's see what it looks like from another part of the country.
So you were on a big label. Now you're up here in Minnesota. Are you doing things DIY or working with smaller labels, or what are you doing?
Right now I'm doing it DIY. Because it's a lot. Like in 1998, I was on Mercury Records, which is a big label. And that was kind of the only way to do it if you were doing anything even remotely mainstream. Mm-hmm. It's not like that now. Like, I don't need to be on a label like that. Like, really, nobody does unless you're making, like, super pop music. And I think that's still the right tool for that job, but most of us aren't doing that. So I don't need to be on a major label, which was a big old deal back then. But it's, you can do all of it yourself, and most of it for free, which is, like, mind-boggling.
Well, how do you like to distribute your music?
I like to, like, sell it to people.
Well, I mean, like, I'm sorry, CDs, internet, albums.
I mean, I still like physical, but most people don't. Mm-hmm. So I make sure it's available on, for streaming, downloading. I do carry physicals around, which every now and then somebody will, like the barber will go down on that with someone. But chances are they're going to take it home and rip it into their computer.
Yeah.
Right? Before COVID, I used to go to Europe every year, and there's still a market for physical over there, at least from American artists, because they want the souvenir, and they're grateful that you flew all the way across the ocean.
Right.
And it's a different, and I only know about people that are into, like, roots music and Americana. I don't know that this is true just across the board over there, but folks in Europe are grateful that you've taken the time to come. They know odd minutia about American culture. I'll give you a story. I shared this with a friend of mine earlier this week. Somewhere in my pictures of tours, I have a picture of a laundromat in Italy, because we were there long enough that we had a laundry day.
Right.
Well, on the picture, in the picture of the laundromat, and the reason I took the picture is because there's a picture of George and Weezy Jefferson, like stenciled onto the wall of the laundromat.
In Italy.
Yeah.
All right.
And I remember I posted it on Facebook, or it's probably Facebook then, and people were like, "Why are the Jeffersons on the wall of this laundromat?" And I'm like, "Are you serious? George Jefferson made his money in laundromats. That's how they moved on up to the east side, and like
To a deluxe apartment.
in the sky."
Right.
And like the Americans that responded to me were like, The Europeans were like, "Yeah." It's weird. They just come at slightly different places. You see different things.
Yeah. So what projects are you working on? What do you have coming up?
I mean, right now, just like the busy season is, I mean, it's the end of April, so things are starting to ramp up for outdoor gigs. The summer season, the busy time. I'm working with a few different artists and then doing my own stuff. I'm writing some songs. I don't have enough to go into the studio yet, but I'm getting there. I mean, they kind of come when they come.
Right.
And I teach some lessons. I teach people my age.
What do you teach? Guitar, songwriting, the whole shebang?
Both, actually. And I really enjoy, I enjoy both of those things, but I feel like you can watch YouTube to learn how to play guitar. Mm-hmm. Writing songs is it's not, those are not the same skill.
Right.
And it's something that I know how to do, and it surprises, I don't know if it surprises me or not, but it's like some people want to write songs that I'm like, okay, well, yeah, there's a trick to it. I mean, you still have to bring creativity and stuff, like technique and a little bit of theory doesn't hurt. But there's no point in reinventing the wheel, and it's like, bring me some songs. Let's talk about them for an hour a week. And, I have lots of ideas, but so do lots of people. Mm-hmm. I just kind of I have learned how to make them into songs that people want to hear. Hopefully. That too. And there is, it makes me happy to share that knowledge. Because I wrote my first song after my second guitar lesson in 1979. I've been doing it a while, and I know how to get it to work. And, that's hard-won knowledge, and why not share?
Do you remember the name of that song?
Yes.
What is it? If you don't want to share. All right. If you don't want to share, that's fine.
Fine. It was called Trials and Tribulations. And it was about somebody observing, like Jacob Riis, how the other half lives, right? The chorus goes, yes, I remember the chorus. These are the trials and tribulations of a man who's lived in poverty since birth. I scorn the men who try to see how the other half lives because their eyes are too busy looking to see.
You wrote that at 9?
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Wow.
That's great.
I knew who Jacob Riis was when I was 9.
Right.
My mom took me to the library every week. This is all her fault.
Right. Well, thanks for coming.
Absolutely.
I appreciate it.
It was fun.
Woo! All right.
Yeah.
I'm still
Welcome back. It's time for our topic of the month, which is crowdfunding. The act of a band or artist saying, give me some money and I'll make a really good album for you. I will take the con, I guess. Claire, what's the pro?
I think you have to elaborate on the con, Pete.
Yeah, exactly. One thing I think we have to make clear is there doesn't have to be a pro and a con on every issue.
Oh, there absolutely has to be. Have you been on these social media?
Unfortunately, yes.
I need somebody to tell me I'm wrong. Who's going to tell me I'm wrong?
Big dumb thoughts.
We all have big dumb thoughts.
Yeah, we do. We do.
Some of us have more than others.
All right. Since it's my job to
Get the ball rolling, Pete.
to be the devil's advocate, one thing we want is for artists to pay for the cost of expensive studio time by themselves, especially if they don't have a major label or even a minor label backing them.
Exactly.
That's the only way art will get made.
Right. With all the money that's paid
So
for the
then-
Minneapolis Park Board.
Exactly.
Everybody's rolling in it. Like,
You take when you wrap together the park board money and the tip jar, that should be enough.
It really should. It really
you
should.
greedy fucking musicians.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. Well,
Claire?
okay. Okay. So here's my
Beat
take on
that.
it. Yeah. Compelling. It's going to be tough. Hang in there. If you don't want to crowdfund, don't. If you don't want to invest or contribute to a crowdfund, don't. I think it's that simple. I will say, in a world where we generally acknowledge that musicians are undercompensated for their labor and performances, that you should totally do it if that's how you like. We know that it's expensive to record, right? Because the people who are recording are also artists who also deserve to be compensated, right? So yeah, I think it's totally fine, especially if you have something set up where you're like, look, contribute X amount of money, and then you are basically like prepaying for whatever finished product that we're doing. And I think if anybody's got a problem with it, then they just shouldn't do it. But I think that it's a bad look to I guess denigrate anybody for doing it, especially when most musicians aren't making a ton of money, especially off being musicians.
Right. And there's always, I guess there's two ways crowdfunding could go. You could just set up a GoFundMe and wait for the cash to roll in. But most artists, at least in my experience, have several levels of funding, and they usually have cool things. I looked back at when the Suburbs were making Hey Muse, the Suburbs. They'll come up later in the show as well. The Suburbs are making Hey Muse. They had what was called a fundraiser. And they had various fun things that you could, from merch to signed records to signed posters, to fun things like playing golf with Hugo and Chan, to having the Suburbs play at your house, which wasn't affordable, but it's a cool idea.
That's for the double album.
Exactly. Okay. Exactly. So to me, it's you're most of the time getting out of it more than you're putting in. Be it for advanced copy of the music, getting a digital download of it early before the pressing is done. There's all sorts of things that go into these campaigns that make them compelling and make people want to contribute. And again, like you said, if you don't want to, don't. I mean, I'll write about you on my Facebook blog, and it won't be positive, but don't. Go ahead, don't. Anyway, I'm done.
Well, also, and one more thing, like, I don't think it's legit to say, like, some art should get made based on whether, if you are, like, anti-crowdfunding, you are basically saying that unless you have the money to make the art, your art shouldn't get made. And I think that's a really shitty position to take in a world of art, right? Like, so somebody who doesn't have a bunch of money in their bank account to record shouldn't get to do it just because they don't have the money. So are we saying like people with financial means and privilege get to make art and others like go fuck them? Like,
Yeah, I think that would make a pretty banal music scene.
Yep.
If only the people that could afford to make art made it.
so
Okay,
if you got a silver spoon and you don't want to contribute,
right.
don't.
Don't contribute.
And that concludes our segment where Claire beats me up in an argument.
For our third set of clips, we've got the reach outs
Rich Mattson.
Tim Casey.
and Cindy Lawson.
And up next is an interview with Mike Elias.
welcome back to the 16th episode of Some Kind of Fun. And people didn't think we'd make it to 11. Today I'm joined by Mike Elias. I am not Mike Elias. Mike Elias is on the couch.
We are in the same room together.
We
Yes.
are. So this is
How's
very...
the record store going for you?
It's going really well. So I'm often mistaken by only one person, Curtis Olmsted, as Mike Elias. And then, of course, the fun was Record Store Day,
Yep.
the DeLinda's play.
Right? And we were both there.
And so Ginny was there. So Ginny's there. Good chance Kurt's going to be there.
Yep.
Standing outside, he asked me how things were going in the store. To which I shook my head and just said, Mike's inside.
Try playing poker with him some night.
Really?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
No, I'm not going there.
Okay.
So, Barely Brothers.
Yes, sir.
Wonderful, wonderful record store. How did that transpire? How did it come about?
I worked in the music industry for many years. Worked at the Electric Fetus. I worked for Northern Lights. Worked for Hot Licks. Did some writing. And then I quit and went into the beer industry, started brewing beer. And I realized that I miss being around the record people and the music people. And I've worked for mom and pops my whole life. And I told my wife, I said, you know what? I can pay myself just as poorly as I've been paid in the past. And by God, I am doing it. Yes.
Nice.
Yes. So sometimes, even a little less. So there we go. So, but yeah.
Oh, that's
so it's
perfect.
been 10 years now.
Nice. So tell us a little bit about Barely Brothers as the entity, what your goals are, what you're trying to do, because it is a little unique.
Yeah, it's when I was growing up and going to record stores, it was a bit of a community. When I shopped at Hot Licks over on White Bear Avenue, there was a clerk there named Julio, and I remember buying the first Clash record. He sold it to me, and I was in there about a week later, and he was playing it, and he had the inner sleeve, and he was reading the lyrics, and I didn't get an inner sleeve. And so he just gave it to me. And I was like, well, now I understand what they're saying. You know, this is great. But, he got to know me, and, you walk into a store and they kind of know who you are. And I'm terrible with faces, but I can remember what some people like. When they start talking, I can understand their voice a lot more than I can understand what they look like. So I was just trying to build community. I like having bands at the store. In-stores were always a special thing when I was growing up. And there's so many willing bands in the Twin Cities, and great bands that want to play and just call up and say, can we play your stage? Like, well, yeah, of course you can. So it's building a community, and I like selling music to people that like music.
Yeah.
Yeah. The collecting side of it kind of upsets me. I mean, I wish records were cheaper, but they're not.
Yeah.
But, in 1980, I just did this the other day. I was thinking, well, when I was buying records when I was a 17-year-old, they were about $8 a piece. So I just looked it up on the internet and said, what's $8 worth today? And it was like $30.90 or something like that. So for a new record to be between 25 and 35, that's really not out of...
Right. It's kind of
it's
in line.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
But
being a little older than you, it still shocks the hell out of me.
Of course. Yeah. No, it is.
Because I was paying $3.
Yeah. Well, I when I was 10 years old, I got my allowance, which was $5 a month, and there was a store that sold them at $4.49.
Yep.
So I'd spend my $5 on that record and listen to it all month until I got the next one.
That was great.
Yeah.
Do you remember what the first record you bought was?
The first LP I bought?
Yeah.
First LP I bought was Elton John's Honky Chateau.
Nice.
First 45, I bought 2 of them on a day. I was on the back of my sister's bike. She took me up to the store, and I bought a little bit of Soul by the Music Explosion and Build Me Up Buttercup by the Foundations.
I think my first 45s were Tommy Boyce and Bobby Hart.
Wonder what she's doing tonight?
Yep.
All right.
Yep. And then my first LP was Are You Experienced, which, of course, my dad loved.
Okay.
It was the start of a wonderful relationship between my dad and I, and music.
My dad was strictly polkas.
Nice.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
So the in-stores, you do those often and you do them very well. So what was the genesis of that? And you do it more than anyone else, which is really cool.
Yeah. It was like, oh, we got room for a stage here. And then it's like, oh, look at this. Here's a stage for sale. So yeah. And then a friend of ours says, oh, here's a rug for your stage. Then it's like, well, why don't we get a drum kit so the drummers don't have to haul their drums around all the time.
Right.
And then I'm like, well, I got a deal on a piano. Should we bring a piano in? So then we got a piano. And then I bought a bass amp, because those are big.
Yeah.
Then Chuck Anderson, who runs sound for us,
Right.
He's got every bit of gear you need in his house.
Okay.
So then I bought some of the PA from Kurt Obita, our mixing board, and our monitors. Mm-hmm. So it just kind of kept building and building and getting bigger, and I just thought that'd be more attractive for a band to come
Sure.
into the store and play than having to haul a lot of gear around.
Absolutely.
And it's not the best sound system in the world, but it sure sounds good in that room.
Oh, it sounds great in that
For a
room.
bunch of cinder blocks and
And,
just
yeah, and I know Chuck basically uses the stage amplification for the instruments.
Yeah.
And
yep.
puts the vocals through the PA, and it all works out
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
So are there any highlights that leap immediately to mind when you think back on those in-stores?
Oh, I remember the first year we couldn't do Record Store Day because we were too new of a store and couldn't get our pledge in time. So we had a bunch of bands that day and celebrated Record Store Day, and I can't remember everybody who played that day, but it was like, wow, we still got a ton of people at our store for not having any of the product.
Yeah,
And then recently, our 10-year anniversary,
that was a great day.
we had a bunch of bands at that time. 5 years ago, we had the Hipsters, and we got a snowstorm, and it didn't have a great turnout. But this year, when we had the Hipsters and the Mofos and King Custom, it was packed.
It was packed.
And when Charlie Parr's played there a couple times, that's been great. Did you ever hear this band called Silent Treatment?
Yeah.
Yeah, they played there.
Yeah.
I like them a lot. Yeah.
They're pretty good.
Yeah.
They're pretty good.
Yes.
And of course, the Suburbs,
Suburbs. Oh,
played
that was-
an infamous in-store
Yep.
with Stevie on the piano bench all the way down to the horns kind of off the stage to the side.
Yeah, that's when we still had access to the outside, which we don't have anymore. Which is
Yeah.
sad. But yeah, I remember their manager coming in and saying, "Can we move this piano off the stage?" I was like, "No, unless you can lift it on your own."
Yeah.
Yeah, because Hugo was hanging out and coming to the store kind of on a regular basis back then,
Okay.
and so I think he kind of started that thing, got that ball rolling for us.
Yeah.
Because he was also, behind Kiss the Tiger too.
Yeah. I know there was a connection there.
Yeah.
I'm not sure exactly
Yep.
how, but
Yeah, so
yeah.
he was very instrumental
Yep.
in helping us get things going. So that was good.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. And now it's people just call up and say, how do we get on your stage? Like,
Yeah.
here's an open date. Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Well, and I've discovered new bands there that Night Jobs. I'd never heard them before they opened for the Silent Treatment there.
Okay.
And just love them. I go and see them when I see they're playing other places now, just because I loved them so much.
Well, that's the other nice thing, it's an afternoon and people are out, and
yeah.
sometimes they don't expect to hear a band there, and then they hear somebody and it's like, wow, where are you playing around town? That's
Right.
So it's good to promote them. Good to promote the local scene.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Annie and the Bang Bang has a great song about your star.
Yeah. She, in fact, she wrote one song about a conversation we had that, what was it called? Jukebox something. That was on based on
Jukebox Revolution.
Jukebox Revolution. That's it.
Yeah.
I didn't want to say the Foreigner song. So I was hesitant. So I knew if I would have said jukebox, it would have came out. It's like, no, that's it. Yeah, and then she wrote a song about the store in the last record. Yeah, well, that's the first time I saw her was in the
now,
store.
hanging with the big kids. I love that song. It's very.
Oh, she's a great
appropriate.
person.
She
is.
is.
There's still possibly a video maybe to be shot in the store with her.
Yeah.
She told me about some things, and it's like, really? I have to catch you? Does she jump or something? Like, come on. So,
Well, she teaches stage comedy.
Yes,
So
yeah.
maybe she can.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah, but I don't. So,
There you go.
yeah.
Well, I was going to say, since she teaches it,
Right.
maybe she can teach you how to catch her and nobody gets hurt.
I played third base in 6th grade. That's
There you
That's
go.
about all I could catch then. And I didn't go any farther than that. So, yeah.
There you go. Very fun. Very fun. So is there anything coming up that we should know about at Barely Brothers?
Yeah, starting in a couple of weeks, we'll get some bands back up and running there. We're going to try to do a few more Friday nights in the summer instead of Saturday afternoons.
Okay.
In the summer, there's so much competition for open streets and all these free events
Sure.
that I hate having a band in the store when something big is going on somewhere else and their mom and dad show up, and that's about it.
Yeah.
And it's beautiful outside, and you know how the Minnesotans like to be outside in the summer.
Yeah.
But Friday nights, because we had a bunch of those during our 10-year anniversary, and they worked out
Yep.
good. So we just stay open a little later, which I'm okay with. And so I know the Butanes are going to come on Flag Day, and
Okay.
just as a 3-piece, and play some blues on a Friday night for us.
Nice.
Yeah, but yeah, I'm getting the schedule together.
Nice.
It'll be posted probably on Facebook and on our website.
Okay. Perfect. Well, so much fun to have you here today, Mike.
Well, this is some kind of fun.
It is some kind of fun. I never say what kind of fun, but it is some kind of
Yes,
fun.
it is. Thanks for having me. I appreciate
All
it.
right. Thanks for coming.
All righty.
There is nothing
Welcome back. This is everybody's favorite segment, upcoming shows. Claire, you get to go first. What is your upcoming show that you're looking forward to?
I've got two. One is on May 9th. Ultra Bomb is wrapping up their tour with the Me First and the Gimme Gimmes, and they will be at the Hook and Ladder, and that's going to be awesome. And then on May 11th, Twang Fest is at Palmer's. I know Trailer Trash is playing, as well as Doug Collins, and a few other bands.
Let me just add that on May 9th, The Silent Treatment is playing. They're pretty damn good.
They're okay. I mean, you know.
Big Salt is playing. They're really damn good. Nijiva is playing. Who I don't know at all, but I assume they're pretty damn good. And we know Ultra Bomb is really damn good.
Greg Norton, friend of the show.
Friend of the show.
Mm-hmm.
That'll be fun.
It will be.
Did you say what you were looking forward to, or are you just like also looking forward to Ultra Bomb?
I haven't said what I'm looking forward to yet. I am looking forward to The Suburbs on May 31st. And again, a plea to our friends at the theoretical physics department at the U of M. Also that night is Run Westy Run at the Green Room and Guided by Voices at the Fine Line.
Oh, man.
So it's really, really hard on Paul.
Sorry, Paul. Man.
But I will be at the Suburbs at the main room.
What I'm looking forward to on May 15th at Cloudland is a great film called Jay's Longhorn, made by you-know-who. And it's a great film.
I don't know. Someone in this room, I think.
And then on May 10th, that's why that was stuck in my head, Vile is playing their part 2 of their album release show at Extreme Noise.
Nice.
Yeah.
So an in-store event?
Yeah.
Nice.
They're playing with Surly Girly on that one, right?
Yeah, I think so.
I think so.
Yeah. That's right. Friend of the show.
Friend of the show.
Yes.
And playing us out is everyone's favorite Curtis A.
Don't be led in the wrong direction.